Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Bossy. How's everyone doing today? Now I'm gonna start saying this in all my story times, especially if they sound really bad. This happened at least 10 years ago. I have grown, I have changed, and I have learned not to make stupid, silly mistakes. And I'm not the same person I was even 6 years ago. So you guys, this is a story about the time that I was in an altercation that involved Bob, another woman, and I was pregnant as well. It's crazy that a lot of my stories have to do with me being pregnant and Bob, but heck, that's what it really was back then. I mean, seriously, I'll just keep it real. So let's get into this story. This happened when I was pregnant with my third child. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened when I was pregnant with her. But at this point, I didn't know until a little bit later in the story. Then I knew, but I was still acting ratchet and I should have known better. It's happened so long ago, so I'm gonna try to make sure I get everything right and not forget stuff. But anyway, back when me and Bob were together, he had worked at this call center. I mean, I guess he made pretty decent money, and I wasn't working at the time. I was just, you know, at home taking care of my 2 daughters that I had at the time. And so one day he was like, they're hiring by SEMA, won't you apply? And he was like, it'll be good for us because we'll have even bigger income and we'll have so much money to do this and that. And I was young and just listening to him, just being gullible and just like, okay, yeah. Not really knowing that potentially working with him could lead to trouble, which it did. But anyway, got the job. Now in this call center, it is primarily females. I'm training and, you know, getting to know a few people there. And about a week and a half into my training, because my training was for like 4 weeks. And I noticed that one day I went to Bob's desk or his cubicle or whatever. And Bob had already been working here for about 6 months already. So I was new. And I was over at his desk talking to him. A girl was sitting like diagonally across from him, but she had a good view of his cubicle. And so I just happened to look up. You know, you looking around and just looking up because it's a big call center. And she's like giving me this stare and this look. And I'm like trying to look like, what the hell is she looking at? So, you know, I would look around and every time I would happen to go in her direction, she was like staring me down. So I actually went to his desk to get him because he said we was gonna go to lunch together. We go to the cafeteria and eat lunch, and the girl walks in while me and Bob are at the table eating and talking. And I'm like whispering to him like, that's her, that's her. She keeps staring at me. Like she just been looking at me. And this dude gonna say, she probably gay. I think she is gay. She probably like you. She probably like you. I mean, I'm like, boy, shut up. Anyway, time went on and I eventually finished my training and I eventually got my shift. Mind y'all, I only lasted at that job for maybe 3 months. I started to notice that this girl that was always staring at me started giving me ugly stank looks. And one day I went to the cafeteria and I was walking with this girl that I was pretty cool with. She was like, isn't that your baby daddy over there? And I look and Bob is over there sitting with the chick. I was like, what's up, Bob? And he was like, what's up, Basima? And I was like, hey, how you doing? My name is Basima. I'm his girlfriend. And she looked at me and rolled her eyes. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Is it something I said to you that offended you? And she got up and walked away. So I looked at him. I'm like, why she got a problem with me or something. He was like, Basim, I don't know, you gotta ask her. I'm like, no, why did she act like that and act like she had a stank attitude when I spoke to her and introduced myself and then walk away? He's like, man, I don't know, man, my lunch is about to be over. I'm about to go back to work. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, nigga. So one day at work, Bob was off this day. And I was at my desk, and so funny is that my desk was sort of close to hers, and we could see each other really good. But it wasn't like an arm's distance or anything like that. It was still across the way, but she could see me and I could see her. You know, I'm taking a call trying to help this lady, and I just was looking down, writing stuff down and talking to her and on my computer screen. And I just looked up, and when I looked up, where my eyes went was towards her desk. Not intentionally, but it just, you know, stuff happens, and I just ended up looking. She was staring me down. So me, I'm like, first off, you didn't want to say nothing when I introduced myself, and then you gave me a stank look. So I did this to her. When she looked at me, that was that. She turned her head. So anyway, I get a new call. And I don't know how fast this happened, what happened. But next thing you know, this girl named Keisha tapped me on my arm. And she was like, Basima, look behind you. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, trying to help this lady. And I'm like, huh? And she's like, look behind you. So I kind of turned, and in my peripheral vision, I seen this ape-looking girl. I kind of turned back around and looked up. She was standing right behind me and said this while I was on the phone. She said, you got a problem, bitch? I don't remember what happened to the lady on the other line. Next thing you know, I popped up from my desk and turned around with the quickness. I said, if you don't back up off of me, we really are going to have a problem. She was like, you giving me ugly stares? I said, every time I look up, you staring at me. What is the problem? You staring at me every single time. Like, why? Do you like me or something? I was told you was gay. Next thing you know, the manager, one of the trainers, came running from, I don't know where she came from. I just seen her hair swinging. She was like, no, Basima, sit down. And like they pulled the other girl back because we was about to bang. She was like, yeah, when your man wasn't home last night, he was at home with me, and he's still at my house waiting for me. Oh, I'm like, how the hell she know he wasn't at home last night? I'm just thinking like, what? He told me he was at his grandma and them house. So eventually they took me off the phones and had me go in one of the break rooms to calm me down. And I guess she left for the day because she had been working there for a minute or whatever. So she had left for the day. So I could not focus the rest of the time while I was at this job. Because I'm like, he messing with her? First off, I'm loyal to you. I don't do nothing to you. And Negro, you asked me to come work at this job. And the fact that you supposedly or whatever, from what she's saying, was at her house, I just couldn't wrap my mind around that. I'm like, no, he wanted me to work here. Ain't no way he's messing with a chick here. So I'm calling him, he ain't answering. I'm calling him every time I go on break, or sometimes I just step away acting like I need to use the restroom. So by the time I get off work at 6 o'clock, this fool is at home and he's already picked up my 2 girls from daycare. So I'm like, Bob, where was you at last night? Bossy, I told you I was at my grandma's house with my cousins and them. Which he was close to his cousins, and he would be with his cousins. They, you know, they was close or whatever. So I'm like, well, the chick that you said that was, and I'm going to call this chick Kim. Because her name started with a K. But I'm going to call her Kim. I said, well, this Kim chick talking about the reason you wasn't at home last night is you was at her house and you was still at her house this morning. Now, how is it that she knows that you wasn't home last night? Because you sure wasn't home last night. He was like, I'm cool with her cousin, man. I'm cool with her cousin. And I don't know, I was talking to her cousin and stuff on the phone. Her cousin was a guy. I was talking to her cousin and chopping it up with him or whatever. I don't know if, you know, because I told him I was out in the city at my grandma's house or whatever, and I don't know, I couldn't tell you. So I'm like, nah, something don't seem right. I'm still trying to, you know, go at it to figure out, how did she know? But he swears it must have been because of her cousin. That following day, I'm scheduled to go back to work, and so is he. And he's like, I'm gonna be home before you gotta go to work, because we still went to work at the same time. And the days that we worked together, we would, you know, of course, ride to work together. Anyway, this day, we both were scheduled to work, but he didn't come back home, and he had the car, so I didn't have a way to get to work. So then I'm like, oh, I can call Bob's dad, and I'm sure he could take me. I called him just in time, and he said he was able to take me to work. And I'm like, oh, Bob is gonna be at work. I could talk to him then to ask him, why the hell you didn't come back home? You knew I had to be at work just like you. So I get to work, and I don't see Bob. And I hadn't seen that girl either, and she wasn't at work. But Bob was supposed to be at work, but the girl wasn't. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's her off day again, because I ain't seen her in a few days. And then Bob is supposed to be at work with me, but he's not there. So I'm thinking, how the heck am I getting home from work? But something in my gut was just telling me something ain't right. He's not at work, and he's supposed to be here, and he ain't answering his phone. I called his grandma's house. His grandma said he ain't been there. You know, his cousins was like, he ain't here. We ain't seen him since such and such. And his mom doesn't know where he is. Like, nobody knows where this dude is. So I get up. It's not my scheduled break time. It's not my lunch time. But I just couldn't focus. I was so distracted to where I was getting a migraine, because I'm like, where is he at? Something's not right. And the fact that she said that stuff and was looking that way, and at lunch with him that day, I call his phone again. I go into one of the break rooms. Next you know, the phone stops ringing and it gets answered. And the person on the other line says, hello? I said, hello? Who is this? They was like, you called my man's phone. Who is this? Oh my God. Mind y'all, I was at work. Sundays, a lot of people don't work. So it was still people there, but not packed like it normally be. I said, give Bob the phone. She said, B, don't call my man's phone no more. We busy in the bed, and hung up in my face. I kept calling. It was going straight to voicemail. I go back to my desk, but I can't focus. I can't concentrate. I'm like rocking back and forth like a crazy woman. I'm like, oh my God. I don't have no way to leave like right now, and I needed to leave because I didn't know if I was about to spaz out on a manager, on somebody on the phone, on one of my co-workers. I just needed to get out of there. So I called his dad again. I get home, I get the kids, feed them, and I go to sleep. In the middle of the night, he calls me. And he was like, hey, Bossy, I'm going to my grandma's house. I just wanted to let you know. I'm like, no, you not. And I start going off and cussing. He hung up in my face. I'm like, how stupid was I? Like, I'm really mad at myself because I went through all this stuff for no good. Like, why? I don't know. My daddy was so disappointed in me. He sent me a message talking about I'm nagging him, always thinking he doing something, this, and that. He gonna stay at his grandma's house for a while. I'm like, you know what? You can stay at your grandma's house. You just need to bring me that car so I can get my kids to daycare and I can get to work.
We're gonna pick us up in 30 more minutes.
Okay, shut the door. Get yourself ready. Tell Naya.
I'm ready.
So, next thing you know, I get a phone call. And it's from a blocked number. So I answer it. And it's like, hello, bitch. And I'm like, who is this? Like, I'm like, this is Kim, ain't it? And she was like, don't trip. She was like, your man is on his way over here with me. He needs to be with a grown woman, not no little childish little girl or whatever. Because, mind you, I was 21 and this lady was 26. And She's just, I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, I didn't know nothing. He came to the job. We was messing around. He didn't tell me he had no girlfriend. Yeah, I knew he had kids, but he didn't tell me he had no girlfriend. And I love your baby Nana, which was my second baby. She was like, I love her. She is so cute. You love her? I said, I know you better not had your hands on my child. You better not have touched my child. She was like, both of them is my babies. Them is my babies. I love them. I said, I know this. I'm thinking in my head, I know this ain't took my kids around these chicks. And this chick at that, I'm like, she gotta be lying. And she was like, they was just at my house the other day. He picked them up from daycare and he brought them to my house. I'm like, I'm getting madder at the second. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't about to let you stress me out. I'm like, you need to shut up because we gonna end up having a bigger problem. I'm like, I ain't got time. I'm pregnant and I'm not about to be losing my baby over your dumb ass. She was like, who pregnant? I'm like, I'm pregnant. She was like, you ain't pregnant. I was like, why would I lie? She was like, and you dumb to get pregnant by a dude that's messing with me. I'm like, first of all, he's my boyfriend. I didn't know about you. You say you didn't know about me, but it's pretty funny. As soon as I got up to that job, you staring me down. Like, we going back and forth. We cussing. We arguing and just going at it. She started talking about STDs. I'm looking at like, who got an STD? Not me. I said, I'm pregnant. I went to the doctor. I'm checked. I'm good. Whatever y'all got going on over there, you can keep it over there. Because at this point, I'm thinking, like, why am I wasting my time with him? I'm arguing with this grown woman on the phone. He outside smoking a black and mild. Like, why? Why am I doing this to myself? My line is clicking while I'm talking to her. And it's his sister. And she was like, Basima, can I come and get the girls? I just got off work and I want to keep the girls or whatever, since I ain't got to work the next day. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine. So his sister comes and get the girls, they leave. So I guess this dude leaves, comes back. He's just still sitting in the car. So I'm frustrated, I'm tripping, I'm mad, I'm going off because I can't just go nowhere. He got the car, I'm like stuck in the house. So I go outside, I pull the door open. He in the car, smoking on his black, and I just start pounding on him and drilling on him and just going off, like punching and punching and punching. He's trying to like hold my hands back so I won't hit him no more. And he's laughing at the same time, kind of laughing but mad, like, gone, why's he gone? Because I'm stealing on him. And so then something just was like went over me, and I just reached over real quick and I grabbed the little cigarette lighter burner thing and I pressed it in his hand real hard. Oh, he was screaming to where when he got up, his phone fell to the ground. He had one of those, what you call them, BlackBerry phones. His phone fell to the ground and it cracked. His phone, it still worked, but it cracked. And so he was like, you know, going off and cutting. You know, people start coming outside looking. It was so embarrassing. So then I just go back in the house. So then this chick, when I go in the house, I left my phone in there. I got 3 more block calls, missed block calls. So then I'm like, this don't quit calling me. I'm getting peed off. So then she calls me and I answered like, hello, would you quit calling my phone? I said, if you call me again, we're going to have a problem. She was like, I'll pull up over there. I was like, go ahead, come right now. Right now, I can give you the address. She going to say, I already know the address. Let me tell y'all something. When I tell y'all, I thought I was about to go to jail. I was going to go crazy. First, you know my kids. My kids done been at your house, supposedly. You done took my kids to McDonald's. You done probably been in my apartment when this dude was not at work and I was at work. Like, clearly we got pictures in our house. So you've seen me on pictures if you've been in my house. The fact that you know my address already. So I'm like, pull up. Pull up. I must have threw on some sweats. My hair was in some, what you call them, kiss braids. And I was waiting on her. I didn't care. My pregnancy left my mind. That's how mad I was, y'all. It's just like anger took over my body. Like, I was going through all of this stuff with a man that wasn't worth a penny at all. And I'm just like, just mad, and then the disrespect she was showing me just took it to a whole nother level. I couldn't deal no more. I just was like, I forgot that I was pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? I knew I was pregnant, but it just went right over my head. That's how mad I was. Next thing you know, I hear a commotion outside. She was bold. She really came to my house. She had her youngest daughter in her backseat of her car. I guess he went to the gas station when he had left. When I told you his car was gone and he came back, I guess he went to get something to snack on. But he had a Cracker Jack box in his hand or whatever. And so I come outside quick. My kids was gone. I was ready. I was about to shut her up for once. I didn't want to put myself in that situation. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't come to blows. But at this point, it was just like something else took over me. I couldn't handle it no more. I wanted to kill him. He thought everything was so funny. And then her, like the fact that she knew about me and was being even more disrespectful. That's what, it's one thing if you don't know and this dude is leading you on. Like in the beginning, she probably didn't know. But then eventually you knew. Because when I came up there, you was, wow. Like you knew. You seen him talking to me. You seen us come to work together when he did come with me. You seen us leave from work together. And clearly you've been in my home because you had to have, you knew where I lived, and I know you seen these pictures of us in this house. So anyway, I'm walking outside or whatever, they arguing. She was like, Bob, you ain't gonna say hi to my daughter? You ain't gonna say hi to my daughter? She opens up the back passenger side door, pulls her, the daughter looks about 2, maybe 3. Maybe she wasn't even probably that old, I don't know. But she pulls the daughter out of her car seat and was like holding her daughter in front of I almost said his real name, and was holding her daughter in front of Bob's face and like, you ain't gonna say hi to my daughter? You ain't gonna say hi to my daughter? It's like that. And then we supposed to have this baby? You gonna do my baby miracle like that? She was pointing her stomach, which she just looked a little chubby. She didn't look pregnant. And she was like, you gonna do our baby like that? You gonna do our baby like that? I'm like, oh my God. I didn't know what to do at this point. At this point, I just want to knock her out. I want to run him over with the car. I really just was, and I stayed with this dude after all of this mess. But anyway, I hope my daughters don't ever go through this stuff. But anyways, so she's like, you know, rubbing her stomach. He was like, man, chill out, chill out. She was like, he was like, I told you this is my girl, meaning me. Talking about, I told you she my girl. She was like, oh, she your girl now? She your girl now? She wasn't your girl the other night. She wasn't your girl all them other times. What about you getting my car fixed and my brakes fixed and all this and that and spending time with my kids? And now you gonna try to act like what we had was nothing? We about to have this beautiful miracle baby together and all of this and that. And he was like, nah, man, just chill out, man. This is my girl right here. This is my girl. And I'm just looking like, this nigga. And so then he was like, I told you I'm gonna marry her. She was like, you ain't never told me you gonna marry that. Just calling me out my name. Like, I want to rush her. But I'm just listening to their interaction with each other. Next thing you know, he eating out of his Cracker Jack box. She gonna say something. You gonna marry her? What? Giving her a ring out that Cracker Jack box? I'm like, oh, this girl, she got jokes. And so she sweating and looking extra shiny and stuff. And I'm like, this chick is so disrespectful. So then she ended up putting her daughter back in the car, and she was like, what was all that stuff you was talking? What was all that stuff? I was like, oh, I'm about to show you. All I know is I went and leaped at her and started swinging. Bob came and like swooped me up like some kind of superhero. I'm like, if you don't get off me, I'm kicking, I'm swinging, I'm trying to hit him. Like, I'm doing the most. And luckily, nothing, my stomach wasn't affected or anything, but I was kicking, I was swinging. I wanted to get to her. And you know, she trying to, ain't nobody holding her back because it's just her and her little daughter. And she just talking stuff. And he like, you pregnant, man, you pregnant. I'm like, and like, just, you know how when you so mad, you just don't think about the right thing to do. And I'm just going off because I'm mad at him. I'm trying to pick up stuff, throwing it at him. I'm trying to hurt them both because I was so hurt. yeah. She leaves. He leaves in a car. I don't know where he goes at this point. I just don't care anymore. I'm just like, whatever. I was drained. I was exhausted. I just needed my time to myself. My kids was gone. He ended up coming home later on that night with his friend. Why do you bring your friends to my apartment? He always brought his friends to my apartment. For what? I don't know. But I had remembered, y'all. I had snapped at this point. I had remembered that one day he was trying to tighten something up with a screwdriver or something, and it fell behind the headboard of my bed. And I remembered it fell back there. So when he came in my house, I grabbed the screwdriver from behind the bed, opened my door, went out in the living room where him and two of his friends were actually, and I just ran at him with it. I wanted to kill him. I wanted to kill him. One of his friends grabbed my wrist. They was like, Bossy, chill out. Calm down. Calm down. And I like got away from him and I chased him to where he ran out of the house. And I just was like, had tears. I was crying. I was so mad because I'm just like, why do you do this to a person like that don't do nothing wrong to you, takes care of your kids? Like, dudes are just some dudes, not all, because I found a good one, but some dudes are just ugh, and he was one of those uhs. Eventually, I guess, I mean, a little more stuff happened with that girl. I can't remember, but somehow she lost the baby that she was pregnant with, which he still says she wasn't pregnant. This is why it was so hard for me to get into another relationship after all the drama I went through. But eventually, of course, we were still together. I stayed with him the remainder of my pregnancy up until the time my baby was 3 months old. My third daughter was 3 months old. And then I just had to evaluate my life and think what was best for me and my children. You know, eventually, I guess they stopped talking. But for those of you that are going through anything similar to the past things that I went through, leave. It's not worth it, because all you're doing is hurting yourself, hurting your children, and just hurting your loved ones that really want something that's better for you. You know, if a guy or girl or whatever is like doing something that's just toxic and it's not helping you, and you just with this person, because yeah, you might have loved them, but love only goes so far. Like, you have to eventually realize this is doing nothing but making you miserable. It's just not worth it. And eventually I eventually just realized it's not worth it. Like, that was the best thing I ever did, leaving him. So yeah, y'all, that was that story. I hope y'all enjoyed the story. I hope it wasn't all over the place, because this happened a long time ago. A long time ago. So I remember some parts a whole lot better than others, and I might have got stuff kind of crisscrossed, but it all happened around the same time. It's just like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. Yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. I know y'all don't leave y'all comments and opinions below, so do it. I know I'm putting myself out there telling y'all these stories, but like I tell y'all, these stories happened to me a long time ago. They don't affect me anymore. And I want to tell my story with people that are going through this stuff so they could see how it made me feel. And I'm sure it makes y'all feel the same way. So get out, run, girl, go. Leave these type of dudes alone. If you have a vibe, get out. Yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, loves.